Welcome to the next exercise. So we have the geometry given to us. Let us first analyze the geometry. I really recommend you to understand the geometry at first. Check out the geometry what is given to you, understand the features what are present, see the dimensions carefully, and then initiate the working or modeling of the geometry. So let us look at the base first. The base is given to us. It is having a dimension of 44 units, and the height of the geometry is something around 48 units, whereas the depth is 34 units. So it is something similar to U-shaped geometry, you can see over here, and we have two extrusions on each side. We have a circular extrusion on this side and we have a circular extrusion on the other side, which is hidden from the view, but it is present because this particular dark shaded line represents the same feature which is present on the left hand side. Then we have holes on the circles. The extrusion is to be created, and then another extrusion is to be created, which is a through hole. So these are the features what are present. Let us try to create the geometry. And if we are following the approach what was discussed in the previous videos, so according to the previous approach, that is feature based modeling, we have to create a block and we have to remove the material from the middle, and then we will be having the U shape left, after which we can extrude the circular sections and we can finally remove the material. So first I'll try to show with the same procedure what I just mentioned. And coming to this geometry, so in this particular view, I am able to see the geometry much clearly. So let me just try to consider this side as the front view. Let me press on sketch view. Now first let me try to create a block of 44 by 48. Before that, let me create a center line, and now let me use the corner rectangle. So again, it is totally my wish or your wish to choose either center rectangle and create a block, or you can choose corner rectangle and create a block. So I will be using corner rectangle for this case. So I'm seeing that it is symmetric on both the sides. Now I will be changing the dimensions, that is 44 units, and the length is around 48. I have the block with me. Now let me extrude it on the other side, or I can try to keep it symmetry. The depth of the extrusion is 34 units. Now let me press OK. Zoom to fit. Now I have the geometry ready with me, or the block. Now I can remove the material from the face, and let me now create a rectangle. So generally, you will be finding difficulty to highlight or understand where is the edge ending. Since this is the latest version of the Creo, we can automatically see that the outer edge of the rectangle is getting highlighted. But in order to avoid the confusion, it is better to use the referencing. So I will be clicking on the reference and I will be clicking on the edge. So I will be having a long horizontal line generated, which is called as a reference line. I will be adding a center line. Now I will be creating a corner rectangle, which is symmetric. So the width of this rectangle is 28, and this edges, we don't have the length basically, so we just have to check up what could be the length. So I have the base over here and the height of the base is 8 units. So I have to just click on dimensions and click on the baseline and change the dimension to 8 unit, whereas these side edges is also 8 units again. So let me click on dimension, click on the edge, and again let me try to use referencing. I recommend you to use referencing. So let me click on dimensions, line, and the reference line, and click middle click. So you are getting a message that this is 8 units. Yes, because this is equally divided, it is appropriate right now. So we can just leave the dimensions. Let us verify on this side. This is again 8 units. You can just check up. So you can just cross mark and you can continue. Now I need to move the extrusion on the other side so that the material get removed and the depth should be till the surface. So the material has been removed right now. You have the bearing ready with you. Now the final thing is to create two features. Those are circular features. We will be creating them using the extrude command. Click on extrude and click on the surface. Change the view to sketch view. Now let me zoom out. So I have the distance of the center of the circle given to me with respect to the top surface of the base, and that is equal to 20 units. So let me just try to create a referencing. So this is the top surface of the base. If you want to verify, you can just change the display style and you can see. So this is the base, and after this you have to create a center circle. So again there is a problem with the referencing, so it's better to choose a reference line. Now let me click on center circle and change the diameter of the outer circle to be 24 units. Now let me change the length or the distance of the center of the circle to the top surface of the base, that is equal to 20 units. And let me press OK. You can change the display style to shading, and you can change the extrusion length to 13 units, which is mentioned over here. Now we can press OK. We have the extrusion ready with us. Now let us create the same feature on the other side. So again let me try to use the referencing and put a reference line on the base. And you can also see, if you're hovering your mouse over here, you can see the extruded circle. So we can try to create a reference of it so that it is very easy for us to create this circle. And in order to get the center point, in order to place the center point at the precise location, we have to use the reference line again and click on the plane so that we are getting a vertical reference line. Now on this vertical reference line, we have to take the center circle and follow the feature which was created previously. Choose the same center point and stop at the position where the reference line is meeting our edge of the circle. So this basically is giving us a constraint feature. I hope you can see on the screen. I'll try to move my mouse over here. Yeah. So this is equal to sign, which is indicating that the previous or the referenced feature is equal to the present feature. I mean the dimensions are equal. So as we have set the dimensions of the previous feature as per the given data, so this feature is absolutely correct. We can just click over here and stop the construction. So we have the sketch over here and simply press OK. Now we have to change the extrusion length, and that was equal to 13 millimeter. Press OK and Control D. So we have the geometry ready with us, the simple part model. And the final thing which is left to us is to create a hole. So for that, again, I have to use this surface or this surface. We can use any of the surface and create a through hole. Now one more thing what you can observe over here is the axis. So wherever you are having circular features in the geometry, you will definitely find axis of that particular feature. So the axis is basically located at the center point. So just try to remember this thing. It will be helpful. Now let me just click on extrude again and remove the material following the same center axis. So I'm clicking on reference and creating a reference line for the precise location of the center point, and I'm stopping at the position. So it is better to create another reference line. We are already having one axis, we can just follow that thing. And change the dimensions of this circle to 14 dia. So I believe this is a radius. We can just click on it and we can change it to diameter and change the diameter to 14 units. Press Ctrl D. So you have the sketch ready with you. You can press OK and change the direction. Now you have the hole ready with you. I want the hole to be a through hole. So I will be just changing. So either I can manually adjust the depth of the hole, but let me try to use the feature which is present with us, that is extrude to intersect with all the surfaces. So whatever surfaces are present, all the surfaces will be intersected and the hole is created. So this is the procedure for creating this geometry, but let me just try to go to the first step. What you can observe over here is we have created the total geometry given to us as per the dimensions. Now let me go to the first step. What have we done over here? We have considered the total block, and after that we have removed the material from the center. So this process what we have done right now may be feature based modeling, but still there is an option for us to follow another different approach. So let me just try to show you the different approach for this problem, and we can have a discussion with respect to the comparison of both the features. So let me just try to create another Creo file and change the units to millimeter. Okay, I will be quickly creating it. So what I will be doing right now is first I will be creating the base. Which is having a width of 44 units and a height of 8. So I will be creating a center line first in order to maintain symmetry, and use a corner rectangle. And stop at a position where I am able to get symmetry. Yes. Now change the units to 8 and 44. So I have created the base right now, and I'm extruding it on the other side with a depth of 34 units. Now on the surface of this particular base, I will be creating this extrusion and this extrusion, the left and the right. So I'll click on extrude, and I will be choosing this surface right now. So you can see the difference. But I will not be creating on this surface, I will be creating the geometry above the surface. So in order to find the exact position, or in order to locate the geometry or the sketch on this surface, it is desirous for us to choose the reference and click on the top surface. After which click on the edge again, and then use the corner rectangle and place it on the surface. Now let me change the distance or the dimensions from the top of the surface to the bottom, which is equal to 40. I believe this is 48, and the width is 8 units. And press OK. So now you can see that the geometry is on the top of the surface or the top of the base, and we can shift it to the other side and extrude the length or the depth to be around 34 millimeter. So this is the next phase that I have created. And again, let me click on the surface and click on extrude sketch view. So I have the base right now. I will be creating a reference line followed by the left side edge. So I have the rectangle over here with the dimensions 8, and the distance from the top of the surface to the base is 48, sorry. Yep. So I've pressed OK, and let me change the direction of the extrusion and the depth as well. So I have created the same shape and followed by the circle. So I need a center point of the circle. So I will be clicking on the center line first, and I will be hovering on the line, and you can see that the midpoint is highlighted. I will be clicking over here and generating a center line. So this will help me to align my center of the circle. It has to be symmetric. And now I will be creating a random circle at any position, followed by the reference for the base. Now changing the dimensions. So the outer diameter is 24. This is radius. Let me change to diameter and change the diameter to 24. And the distance of the center point and this edge is 20 units. So I'm done with this. The extrusion is 13. And press OK. Now I will be using the mirror option. I will be explaining you later about it, so need not worry. I'm sorry. Extrusion, mirror, plane. Now let me create a hole. So the objective over here is I want to explain the difference between two approaches. So I'm a little faster. Well, I believe I'm able to see the axis. So let me close the reference again, and let me directly go to circle and create this circle from the same center and change the dimension to be in the form of diameter. That is equal to 14, and press OK. So I have the extrusion with me. I need to remove the material by going to the other side and choosing the depth that is equal to intersect to all the surfaces. So I have created the same geometry. So now if we are seeing the difference between both the steps what we have followed, now in order to move to the previous window, we have this option over here, which is Windows. Click here to select the window to activate. You can select the previous window and you can see the previous window what we have worked on. So in this case, we have actually worked on the procedure where we have created a block, then we have removed the material from the middle, and we have created other features. But in this particular method or in this approach, we have not performed the same way. We have created the extrusion of the base, and then we have created another face, then we have followed with this face. So this procedure is also correct, because right now I am assuming that the first base is a raw material given to me. So after which I am going to weld this particular raw material on the right hand side to form a L shape. After that, again I'm creating a welding over here, and I am creating this left side face. So I am right now forming a U shape which was desired to me. So this is the thought what I was having in my mind when I was using this approach. So the difference between both the approaches is clear right now. In the previous approach, we have wasted a lot of material over here. In the process of creating a block, we have taken a raw material which was having such amount of material, and we have removed the material from the center. So we have wasted that much amount of material in this process. So in this particular process, we have considered single pieces, and we have assumed that we are welding them together to form a U-shape bearing with additional features which are present. So this is another approach what we can follow. So the approaches of each and every geometry or the part model or the mechanical component depends on the component itself. So we have to analyze the geometry and then we have to start working on it. Again, I'm repeating, if in case the tool test what you're going to give for the Creo software for your design in engineering interview, so if they are directly checking the last geometry, then the approach is not important. But if they are checking the approach, then you have to analyze the geometry and you have to follow a certain procedure for creating the part. So this is about the third exercise. I really hope you're understanding the part modeling part, and let us move to the next video. See you.